Hello and welcome back to Sonic Adventure. Um, so we got a lot of things to do on our list here, so let's go through them one by one. So, as per the story, we're going straight to the Mystic Ruins. There's no there's no further action required. But instead of going to the and going out into the forest where the egg base is located, as we saw with Knuckles before, we're actually gonna head down to this raft here. It's gonna take us to where the egg carrier crashed because we have some unfinished business of our own to tend to on this particular site. Now you'll notice right away that during the daytime the egg carrier is a very different place. As I say that as I try to maintain my speed as I'm going up a slope, which is definitely not very smart, but it is what it is. So we're going to follow this path up to where this little platform is. It's going to take us back down to the back down to one of the main decks, and we're actually going to go back to where we played that little game before. So you head down, take the door on the right. Of course, you gotta open the door first. And wow, how dutiful of those robots to continue cleaning even after Eggman abandoned ship. So press the button to start the game. This time we're gonna shoot for a really high score. You can use the spin attack to try and cheese this a little bit, but it is risky because you don't know what might pop up. You might get a couple of Eggman pieces it'll just lower your score as fast as as fast as you bump it up. I can't remember the exact target you have to hit here, but if you reach it, you'll get another power up for aiming. And although it's not required to finish the game, it is still pretty helpful. You'll know whether or not you've reached it depending on whether you can maintain control of aiming or not. And also obviously too the message that appears on screen changes too depending on your accomplishment. So whether you just get a high score or if you actually win the item. So give it a couple tries. If you can't win, don't sweat it. You can always come back later. Sometimes too, you might not get as many supersonics. So there might be a bit of luck involved. Of course. It's all those fond memories of going to the arcade and spending your quarters to try and win that special prize. I actually remember a claw machine that I checked out at a family restaurant a long time ago. We actually got a Sonic plushie from it in like 2 tries. So
here's the long hammer. Your attack radius is now increased. Try the spin hammer attack.
So as the name suggests, you get increased attack range, which is incredibly useful. Like I said, it's not required, but it's not required to finish the game. But it can be nice. It can be nice if you're in a tight spot. So yeah, so this affects your regular attacks, your jump attacks, your spin attack, and also when you use it, it makes a different sound. It creates a new sound effect. So so there is that. If you're into that sort of thing, so press the switch to make that monorail appear. And it'll take you back up to where you were before. Now that we're done here, we can go back to the Mystic Ruins and resume our business. Just make sure you pay attention to where you stand, because one side of the egg carrier has a boat that'll take you to Station Square instead. So that's on one side, and the other side has the raft the raft that takes you back to the Mystic Ruins. Of course, if you get lost, you can also use those little TVs that are stationed by each one. It'll tell you which way leads to where. So about that claw. So going back to that claw machine, yeah, I actually remember it was a long time ago. It must have been like 4th grade. where I was where I happened to see the Sonic doll that was that was a part of the prizes, and I was telling and I got the attention of one of my parents at the time.
Will be departing soon.
And they were like, yeah, give it a try. So I played the game the first time. I can't remember if it was a machine that took like 1 quarter or 2 for one attempt. It might have been just 1, because I remember 50 cents coming into play at some point. But so first try didn't go so well, but then the second try, I can't remember if it was one of my parents or if it was just someone else who was watching me play who were like, hey, where they suggested, hey, try aiming for one of his shoes. So I do that. So I do just that, and I use the claw to grab one of Sonic's legs, and it worked like a charm. So getting that on my second try definitely made my night back then, along with the delicious food that we had at that restaurant. So. Yeah, so if any of you guys have any other fun stories about whether it's at a claw machine or any of those like family fun arcades, whatever, feel free to chime in.
I don't remember this bridge. Looks dangerously suspicious. Wanna go?
So we enter the bridge to see this lovely sight. You can see Metal Sonic in that capsule there. I'm guessing he's a little obsolete now. So then you come across this strange puzzle where if you touch the floor panels, I want to say the way this behaves is any pieces that are opposite of it will light up and dimmer out respectively. So you kind of have to use your wits here to find the right combination. I know this definitely takes me a couple of tries. Definitely takes me a couple of tries whenever I play. So the goal of that is to have all the sides turn up yellow, and then the door opens to our final stage, which is the final egg. Appropriately enough, definitely my favorite out of Amy's list of stages here, because it just throws a little bit of everything at you. It's like it's very brain bendy, for one.
Not you again!
And the second reason, of course, is that it's just like such a dangerous level to begin with. Not just with our old friend the Visitor following us around half the time, but I mean you have things like, because you have regular enemies, giant claws, lasers floating around. It just captures everything that makes these stages enjoyable, for me at least, and just amplifies it up to 11. So yeah, you can also use the hammer to knock those lasers out of commission, which is very nice. Sometimes you might need to do that in order to clear a path if you get stuck. But more often than not, though, it might not be necessary. Now, as you approach these elevators, it would definitely be in your best interest to take cover, because our visitor will still be pursuing us as we make our way through the level. And fortunately for us, his eyesight's not very good. So that's one elevator down, and I believe another one that we have to take towards the end of this level. There's a barrel there that you can hide under, but it doesn't do us much good because it's like on the bottom floor. Extra life there to pick up if you're hurting.
One of these doors is the right one. Try and find the correct door.
Then you get to this section. I can't actually remember what exactly entices it to be the correct door. You might just have to do a little bit of trial and error. Sometimes you get a dead end. Sometimes you get a random badnik that's just blocking your way. here. Pretty sure there's a way to tell to like indicate which door you have to go through, but I just keep, like I said, I can't really remember it right now. And even as I'm watching the playback footage, I definitely had a little bit of trouble remember even as I played. So there's another useless barrel there, but we can use our trusty bounce attack to make our way up. And okay, I guess I was mistaken. There's only one elevator in that level, but we made it. So our visitor robot can jump, like I mentioned before, but like I said, sometimes he's just not very smart with it. Sometimes he can be like right on your tail, and you might just have bad luck. So that is what it is. Just don't give up. You'll get there.
That was a close one. I saw no sign of your relatives, Birdie. Oh, you escaped from the egg carrier. So maybe your family's still in there. Let's investigate, wanna?
And when there's an investigation to take on, there's only one thing to do. We just gotta head up the stairs, go out this door, and we gotta take the long way back, back up to where that raft was that we took at the beginning of the episode. So there are a couple ways to go about this. You can follow you can do what I do here and just follow this river, or at least a part of the way up there. Because fortunately for us, that bridge is located right by a waterfall. So going upstream on that river is definitely a smart approach. Something else you can do is you can head towards Big House, towards Big's house there on the I think it's the left side if you're facing the ladder to get you out of the forest. That's also a pretty easy path to follow. Just be mindful of that of that log there as you go up. You will have to jump over it. Yeah, the terrain here is very uneven, so you might be able to get a speed boost out of it. But then once you cross the other side of that river, you are good to go. Then you just gotta climb this long, tall ladder. And I believe you can speed this up sort of speed this up with some characters by just jumping in place. I don't know how well that works though. Obviously, it's different for everybody. So. Then we're back up to our old friend, the minecart. I think I've run out of things to talk about here, so...
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
This is part of the reason why. This is pretty much the main reason why I went back to pick up the long hammer first, because I believe going back now just triggers the next cutscene, so you won't get an opportunity to until afterwards.
Are you
All right, it's boss time, and it's also the only boss fight that we have here with Amy. So this fight, if you remember Chaos 2 functions pretty much the exact same way. You just gotta knock him over to the electrical fence. This will stun him for a little bit. Then you can attack his weak point. He only takes 3 hits. And if you time your attacks just right as he's pounding the ground there, then you can attack again immediately, which is very useful for trying to hold on, I'm getting my words mixed up again. So if you're aiming for a best time or a high score or anything like that, if you dawdle too long and he gets to the center, he'll extend his fists outwards and do like a little spin attack. It just eats up a lot of time. It's very annoying to do. So anyway, yeah, like I said, hit him 3 times and he is out of the picture.
See, I can do this.
Sometimes when the going gets tough, you just gotta swing your hammer around like a boss. And that about does it for Amy's story. So enjoy the rest of these scenes, and I will see you later.
Please wake up, Birdie. Are you okay? Can you fly? Whoa! You did it! Now you 3 can live in peace again. I'm so happy! I'm going to try my best, too!